The Baltimore Ravens have found their guy. Welcome into this edition of Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports, as the Baltimore Ravens have selected Clemson cornerback Nate Wiggins with their first-round pick at 30th overall. Let's break it down for you. This move by GM Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh. We told you going into this draft that the cornerback position was a big need for the Baltimore Ravens, and they had plenty of options out there. Ultimately, they go with Wiggins when Cooper DeJean was on the board, and I know a lot of hype was out there about DeJean potentially being kind of like a Kyle Hamilton 2.0, but this direction, they go with a true cover outside corner that should be able to start immediately, day one for the Baltimore Ravens, on the opposite side of Marlon Humphrey here. Comes in at 6'1", 3/8", out of the University of Clemson, was an all-ACC selection this past season with the Clemson Tigers, and I really like all what I read and get to know when it comes to Nate Wiggins and potentially his fit with the Baltimore Ravens. Look, we talk all the time about the image of the Baltimore Ravens, right? And this identity that this defense thrives on. And when you look at what Nate Wiggins brings to the table, the type of player he is, and what the Baltimore Ravens were looking for, this feels like a match made in heaven between these two of both of those elements there. Great length. I think that's going to come off the page right away when you talk about Nate Wiggins. Uses his arms in long press when playing the ball, has the frame to continue to add weight and fill out. He's patient in press coverage, shows the lateral quickness to stay receivers off the line, has fluid hips to flip and run, uses his hands well to disrupt routes. He also does a very good job of sinking his hips and has the burst to run out his transitions with very quick footwork. What do you guys think about this, of the Ravens making the draft pick of Nate Wiggins? I like this pick for Baltimore. It seems to make a lot of sense for this team. We want to hear from you guys, though. Weigh in, tell us what you think about this pick by the Baltimore Ravens. I want to know from you guys what your one-word reaction is to the Ravens going with Nate Wiggins. My one word, I'll hear from you guys in a moment, but my one-word reaction of what I would go with is pleased. I am pleased with this move by Baltimore to go with Nate Wiggins, to find a playmaker, to take care of position of need, and I could make a case that he was the best available player when the Ravens picked, right? We always talk about going into this draft, balancing needs and best available, and you killed two birds with one stone here with the Baltimore Ravens of this pick with Nate Wiggins here. Give me your one-word reaction. Let us know in the comments section what that one word is for the Ravens picking up Nate Wiggins. Here's our scouting report on Nate Wiggins, courtesy of our own Tom Downey. A long and lanky corner who can fit zone and man schemes, can play a bit high, but has the ability to sink and flip hips. Slight frame caused troubles in the run support. Downey had him as the number 3 corner in this class, the number 22 player overall. So a lot of value for Baltimore to get him at 30. And the way this draft went, it was so offensive heavy at first that a lot of good defensive players found themselves available in the second half of the first round of this draft. So a guy like Nate Wiggins, who was projected to not be around when the Ravens picked at 30, it was a pleasant surprise for Baltimore to be able to have this ability to get him when they did. More from Dane Brugler of The Athletic. Here's what he had to say about Wiggins heading into the draft. Wiggins' slight frame and suspect play strength are legitimate concerns, but he is fast and fluid athlete with the cover awareness and on-ball production to be a starting perimeter corner in the NFL. He gave him a first to second round grade, rating him as the number 24 overall prospect in this year's draft. I got a couple of notes and some things I want to let you guys hear from. I want to start off with what Eric DeCosta had to say. Let me read this off to you about Nate Wiggins in their selection. He said, "We're very, very excited to draft Nate Wiggins. In my opinion, the best cover corner in this draft. Ecstatic that he fell to us." So, if that's your belief, if you think he's the best cover corner in this draft, then wow. I mean, the Ravens, this just fell right in their lap. Then If that's what this ends up being, if that's what you got, then you ought to be dancing in the streets with that much excitement, because that's exactly what the Baltimore Ravens were looking for. More from DeCosta. He said he felt the Ravens had to come out of the first round with either a corner or an offensive lineman. And one of the things we talked about on this program the last couple of days was that there was a very real possibility that if the Ravens stayed at 30, that all those top offensive linemen were not going to be there when the Ravens picked at their spot. Well, what do you know? Mims was gone. Guyton was gone. Jordan Morgan was gone as well. So all of a sudden, Grant Barton was gone too. The Ravens were looking at their options. Although the offensive tackles went one by one just out the door, there was several different options to the corner spot. Ultimately, they chose Wiggins over Cooper DeJean, who a lot of people had mocked to the Baltimore Ravens of Cooper DeJean there. DeCosta even said himself, honestly, I didn't think Nate would be there for us at the 30th selection. So that's fascinating to see. We'll let you hear what John Harbaugh had to say about this pick and how Nate Wiggins fits into the Baltimore Ravens coming up in just a moment. But first, before we do that, want to make sure you're subscribed to Ravens Rundown as we have an exciting weekend ahead. This is one pick down, plenty more to go this weekend. We're going to break down every single pick as it happens throughout the weekend here on the channel. You ain't alive, you ain't subscribed. For your Ravens Draft headquarters, you got to be subscribed to the channel here as we're bringing you the latest news and rumors, draft updates, and more. Subscribe now for free. Never miss a moment. Lock us in here on Ravens Rundown. Exciting weekend ahead. We have more to come. Stay with us here on Ravens Rundown. Today's show is sponsored by Game Time. Game Time, the place to go for the best seats and the lowest prices guaranteed. Whether you're looking for tickets to sporting events, concerts, theater productions, comedy shows, and more, Game Time has got it all for you, including tickets to go see your Baltimore Orioles. Here's how it works. Choose the event you want to go to. They got the prices listed. Then from there, they have the seats. And you get to see if you like the seat or not. And then look for those flash deals. And then all of a sudden, there you are. You're getting your tickets. Whether it's Apple Pay, Google Pay, Venmo, all major credit card providers. They make it simple and easy for you. And we're offering you $20 off your first purchase when you use the promo code ChatSports at checkout. Yes, you heard that right. Promo code ChatSports for $20 off. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Download Game Time today. Terms and conditions apply. Check out Game Time. You will be glad you did. All right, let's hear more from John Harbaugh. Here's what he had to say on Nate Wiggins. You see him as an outside corner, but he plays inside as well. He gives us another quality starting corner. We were excited. We're looking for Nate. When you watch the tape, he comes up and smacks people. He's not afraid of the physical part at all. The weight doesn't impede him at all. He's a ridiculous, this is more from DeCosta. He's a ridiculous athlete in our division. We play a lot of good receivers. You got to get off the field on third down. More on Wiggins of our evaluations here. Good size. We mentioned long and lanky, the fluid hips. Talk about the speed. This is one of the fastest players in the entire draft. Ran a 4.2840. Just unreal speed, right? And his effort is ideal. This guy is a force to be reckoned with. Last season, he chased down a forced fumble that saved a touchdown, which was quite the play. If you're looking at highlights tonight, you're going to see it when you're looking. It was quite the moment for him. He will trash talk some opposing receivers at times too, which that tells me all I need to know as far as fitting in the Ravens culture, right? He's going to be one of us right away. But Nate Wiggins, I really like to pick for the Baltimore Ravens. I'm glad that he fell the way he did for Baltimore, and I expect him to be immediate impact player to start for this Ravens team. My grade that I would give for this, I'll say this. I'm not quite going solid A, though. I'm going A- because I did like Cooper DeJean a little bit more. I would have liked to see Cooper DeJean. That's just personal preference, but I'm not mad about the pick at all. I still really like Nate Wiggins, too. I don't think you could have gone wrong with either one. So I'm going A- just because I would have preferred Cooper DeJean personally, but I think Nate Wiggins is going to be a great pick as well. So what would your grade be? What do you think of this move by the Baltimore Ravens going with Nate Wiggins A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know in the comments section what your grade is for the Baltimore Ravens pick of the Clemson corner. Appreciate you joining us here on this edition of Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. We'll have continuing draft coverage all weekend long here on the channel, so make sure to subscribe. Don't miss a moment. We got you covered. We will see you with more draft coverage tomorrow right here on Ravens Rundown.